The grand ballroom buzzed with excitement as influential guests, journalists, and community leaders gathered for a national charity leadership forum. Cameras flashed from every direction while conversations filled the elegant hall. Everyone expected inspiring speeches, meaningful discussions, and moments of unity. Among the honored guests were Jill Biden and Kash Patel. Both had arrived to support different charitable initiatives. Although they represented different perspectives, everyone hoped the evening would remain respectful and focused on helping veterans, students, and struggling families. As the program continued, the host invited several guests onto the stage for a discussion about leadership and public service. The atmosphere remained professional until an unexpected misunderstanding created tension. During the conversation, Jill made a sharp remark that many in the audience interpreted as a criticism of Kash's approach to leadership. A few people laughed nervously while others exchanged uncomfortable glances. Social media influencers in attendance immediately began posting dramatic updates, predicting that the event would soon turn into a heated confrontation. Television cameras zoomed in, waiting for Kash's reaction. For several seconds, the room became completely silent. Many expected him to respond with an equally harsh comment. Some reporters even prepared headlines before anything happened. Instead, Kash smiled politely. He thanked Jill for sharing her perspective and calmly explained that public service required people with different opinions to work together despite disagreements. His voice remained steady and there was no sign of anger. The unexpected response surprised everyone. Instead of creating more conflict, his calm attitude changed the atmosphere inside the ballroom. Guests who had expected an argument suddenly began listening more carefully. The moderator noticed the shift and invited both speakers to discuss solutions rather than disagreements. As the conversation continued, they began talking about education, community programs, and opportunities for young people. While they still viewed many issues differently, both agreed that every child deserved the chance to succeed. The audience applauded. Among those watching was a 16-year-old volunteer named Daniel, who had spent months organizing school supply drives for children in low-income neighborhoods. He admired leaders who could solve problems instead of creating them. During the intermission, Daniel approached Kash. "I thought you were going to argue," he admitted. Kash smiled. "My grandfather taught me something I'll never forget," he said. "If someone hands you anger, you don't have to accept the gift." Daniel thought about those words for several minutes. Nearby, Jill noticed the conversation. She quietly reflected on how quickly a single remark could influence an entire room. She realized that public figures carried enormous responsibility because every word could inspire either division or understanding. When the event resumed, the organizers announced an unexpected challenge. A local youth center had lost major funding only days earlier. Unless new donors stepped forward, hundreds of after-school programs would be forced to close before the end of the month. The room fell silent again. The charity director explained that many students depended on those programs for tutoring, meals, and mentorship. Without them, many families would struggle. The organizers asked whether anyone would be willing to help. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Kash stood. Instead of making a speech, he pledged the first donation. His contribution inspired several business leaders to join him. Within minutes, thousands of dollars had been pledged. Jill watched the growing list of donations. She realized this was far more important than political differences. She walked back onto the stage. "I'd like to contribute as well," she announced. The audience applauded loudly. Soon more guests followed. Corporate executives, teachers, retired military veterans, doctors, and small business owners all stepped forward. By the end of the evening, the fundraiser had collected enough money to keep the youth center operating for several years. The charity director fought back tears. "You didn't just save a building," she said. "You saved opportunities for hundreds of children." The audience rose for a standing ovation. After the ceremony, reporters surrounded both Jill and Kash, expecting comments about the earlier disagreement. Instead, Kash answered first. "People may disagree," he said, "but helping others should always come before winning arguments." Jill nodded. "I've learned something important tonight," she replied. "Respect creates opportunities that conflict never can." Those brief comments quickly spread across television and social media. To everyone's surprise, People praised the message of cooperation instead of focusing on controversy. Daniel later returned to his high school inspired by everything he had witnessed. He organized a community volunteer campaign that brought together students from different backgrounds and beliefs. At first, many doubted the project would succeed, but Daniel remembered the lesson he had learned. Instead of arguing, he listened. Instead of criticizing, he encouraged. The campaign became one of the largest student volunteer efforts in the county. Months later, the youth center invited Daniel to speak during its anniversary celebration. Standing before hundreds of families, he shared a simple message. Real leadership isn't about proving someone else wrong. It's about choosing kindness when conflict seems easier. The audience applauded once again. Among those attending were community members who remembered the charity forum where everything had begun. Many admitted they had expected drama. Instead, they had witnessed something much more powerful. They had seen patience overcome pride. They had seen generosity replace division. They had seen respectful dialogue create real change. As the evening came to an end, volunteers handed backpacks filled with school supplies to smiling children. Parents thanked the donors. Teachers celebrated new educational programs. The youth center's doors remained open. The biggest lesson of the day had nothing to do with politics. It was about character. True strength is not measured by how loudly someone responds to criticism. It is measured by the ability to remain calm, show respect, and work together for a greater purpose. Sometimes the greatest victory is not defeating another person. It is inspiring everyone to become a little kinder than they were the day before. And that is exactly what the people in that ballroom would remember for years to come.